Prince Harry's legal battle against Mirror Group newspapers over allegations of phone hacking has been concluding this week, with closing arguments revealing another twist to the tale. Andrew Green, KC, representing the Mirror Group, told the High Court yesterday that a convicted phone hacker helping the Duke's case had offered, quote, pretty large sums of money to would-be witnesses willing to give evidence on behalf of celebrities, including Prince Harry, in a practice the barrister branded extraordinary. In a separate exchange, Judge Mr Justice Fancourt pleaded with Harry's legal team to show me the evidence, not just assertions. Give me your best two examples of particular evidence that Harry was able to give, which could prove tricky after the Duke himself admitted a lack of evidence during his appearance.
You think your phone was consistently hacked throughout the 15-year period between 1996 and 2011, the time period that makes up your claim against MGM?
It could have been happening on a daily basis. I simply don't know.
Are you aware of any evidence to show this?
No, that's part of the reason I'm here, my lord.
Kelvin MacKenzie, why is Harry working with these two completely discredited phone hackers a sign of desperation?
Well, I don't think Harry has the vaguest idea of what the evidence was. He was used as a global PR tool in order to attract publicity. And that worked in one respect. He got bags of coverage, but unfortunately for him and for the side that were funding this campaign, actually it was all bad evidence. He doesn't know anything, and actually employing those two convicted hackers surely was an indication that they had no strength. They had no evidence. I have never heard, and I've spent quite a lot of time in court cases, as you might expect in my time, right? I have never heard a judge say to one side or the other, show me the evidence. Clearly, the judge, as most of the members of the establishment, would like to find for Harry. Harry is going to be destroyed in all this. And not only that, he's going to be left with a very large bill. I can understand his obsession about the fact that the tabloid press don't bow down to him morning, noon and night. I can't understand why he is prepared to write a large cheque to cover his lawyer's legal bills, and possibly, even worse for him, have to cover the Daily Mirror's bills as well.
And having been reading up on one of these phone hackers, Kelvin, I mean, this is a proven liar, so it's difficult to rely on his evidence, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, nothing works for them. Absolutely nothing works for them. They haven't been able to lay a glove, really, on Reach, or the Mirror Group, as it actually is called today. Nobody, and you know, and they're wise enough not to call Piers or any of his colleagues into the witness box as well. So I see this as nothing but a disaster for them. Actually, I'm pleased to say it's a disaster, to be honest. And he would have known that. He hadn't done any research, Harry, although I saw that Elton John was saying that Harry was very pleased with his performance in the court the other day. The guy is simply deluded, or he gets fed a very edited version of how he did. So that when he ends at the end of the day, the old barrister there, old Sherborne, who has been trousering a phenomenal fortune, has literally probably made millions over the last 10, 12 years, when you take into account the Sun payout, etc., right? They would say to him, Your Highness, another brilliant display. And then in the morning, the newspapers and the unaligned media would say, another disastrous day for Harry. Well, honestly, it's fantastic.
Harry's got a real temper on him too, so no one's prepared to tell him the truth. That's one of the big problems. Now, look, Calvin, moving on, a broadcasting war brewing between the BBC and ITV after top talent from both networks, including Graham Norton, Gary Lineker and Alison Hammond, recently agreed deals to host shows with their rivals. And Holly Willoughby has now become the latest big name reported to be in the BBC's sights for Strictly Come Dancing hosting duties, with her long-term future on This Morning looking pretty uncertain after the Schofield crisis. But Calvin, my question about this, right, is why on earth is the cash-strapped corporation at war with ITV over star talent when surely They should be trying to save our money. Kelvin, this is not the time for them to be offering massive cheques to Holly Willoughby.
Yeah, well, first of all, yeah, I totally agree with you. Their job, actually, they're funded by us, is to create talent. And if they can hang on to it, jolly good. But if the money becomes too large, and ITV is funded by advertising, whereas the BBC actually is paid for by us, I do not want to pay whatever it costs, $500,000, $750,000, to move Holly Willoughby from the ITV onto Strictly. The other thing is, she's never going to go anyway. And all she's going to do is take that offer and leverage it up with either Channel 4 or somebody else. No, the BBC have got this completely wrong. They're not in a competition with ITV. They are funded completely separately. I only pay my dues to the BBC because the threat is you'll go to jail if you don't.
Yeah.
The truth is, I don't know how much do people watch at BBC anymore? In fact, how much do they watch the networks anyway? Isn't everything breaking down into subscription or GB or somebody like that, or Sky? The idea that you sit down and said, I tell you what, I must watch the Antiques Roadshow, Escape to the Country, and round it off with Newsnight, and I have to pay £159.50 for that. It is ridiculous, a ridiculous system that no political party wants to address. And now the BBC are saying, well, we've got your $3 billion a year. What we're going to do is we're going to spend it by trying to attract a talent from other networks. Just create your own talent, mate. It'll be cheaper and they'll be more loyal.
Yeah, indeed. And it's like, you just wait till Labour get in, Kelvin, and then the BBC are going to be totally out of control. That's what we've got to look forward to.